watch, later on.
There we go.
Yeah, I can hear you now. This is gonna be recorded. So today's Sunday, June 21st, 2020. What a year. Sunday Market Blitz, another live session from Forex League. We are gonna go over all the pairs, getting ready for this week. If you guys don't know, hop into our analysis chat. We just posted, over 10 pairs, all of our analysis, mostly higher time frame, as you guys can see. And that's just so we all get a picture as to the overall direction in the market this week. So this is completely free. You guys should tap in, just press the link. You can see a little bit of a breakdown each time frame, what we're thinking, and then some forecasting. You got to forecast your ideas, guys. Got to put on your technicals, and then you got to forecast where you're looking to potentially enter, based on the higher time frames. So you guys are prepared. We're always prepared. People talk about, do I need to be on the charts all day? No, you do not. You just need to be prepared. You could be out doing literally anything. And if you know where your pair is during the week, you could log on, see a 30-minute entry, whatever your rules executed, you could be flipping upside down and you could be taking the trade. So definitely stay prepared. That is all of our analysis. For this week, we definitely got some events coming up. I suggest you guys, if you're in the course, in the group, look at the fundamentals every day, what's going to be coming up, what pairs are going to be affected. Tomorrow we're looking at existing home sales. All of these are just the most volatile releases that are going to come out. And then if you guys aren't in the course, you could always come over to Forex Economic Calendar, and you can come through and you can start to see which events are coming up, which ones are going to be significant. And, tomorrow we'll update you guys with, like we do every week, a little bit of fundamental analysis, market overview, and everything like that. So let's pretty much get right into it. I'm going to let Nick share his screen. He's going to start going over DXY, and he'll go over Y, and we'll pretty much go from there.
All right, just let me share and then we'll get, there we go.
I got you.
All right, guys, you can see my screen. Just give me a yes or no in the chat real quick. Seems like you can, but that's a yes. Awesome. All right, guys, so here we are on DXY. This is the 4-hour time frame. We're going to go ahead and jump up time frames while I explain why we look at DXY. So this is essentially the US dollar currency strength. So you can see over here, currency index. It essentially just shows the strength of the US dollar. And this is good to, kind of analyze and figure out what the sentiment is, because the US dollar makes up for 80% of all trade in the market. And it is considered the reserve currency of the world. So, it's always good to just step in, see if anything's changed, see if our sentiment's the same throughout time frames. Usually we'll stick on the daily and 4-hour, kind of just see what's going on. And then, we can progress to other pairs with this in mind. So let's go over on the daily here. Super, super bullish. As we can see, this is a huge bullish channel. It's respecting both bottom and top trend line very well within this channel. It's been happening since June 2018. So pretty much 2 years to this point. All right, so now we have we've established the overall sentiment, which is bullish, right? So we can go ahead and drop down timeframes now and see what more recent price action has been doing. All right, so this over here is Corona news. So, create a dollar shortage. There's so much uncertainty in the global economy. People kind of flock to the US dollar. So that's what this huge spike is. Dollar shortage, which means dollar is in demand. So you see this huge, pretty much unsupported rally. It's completely speculation. And then you can see it just shot up and then it came right back down. And then the market consolidated. So this is actually really nice that this happened, this consolidation. It gave the markets a chance to take a breather, gave some other pairs, time to form better structure and essentially just get away from this news-related crap over here. Because this is not, you can't trade this really. It's just too high risk. It's just ridiculous. So the fact that we saw this consolidation was good. We actually were seeing dollar stability between a 101 and 95, which was good. But as certain reports and news events started to come out, the market started pricing in the real state of the economy, at least what people speculate the real state of the economy was for the US dollar. So that's why we saw this price action kind of slide off. It broke out of this range, kind of continued lower after we saw this higher low, and it just dropped. Or lower high, and then it just dropped. So it came all the way down to our monthly support, right at 96 flat, which still is bullish on the 4-hour, on the daily time frame, because we can see here it merely lined up with these lows over here, So this is the higher low over here. This was a higher low, but then just tested this low, and we tested this low again. So it's still bullish until this monthly is broken. On the daily time frame, we're still overall bullish. Okay. So back to the 4-hour. So right, we saw this huge rejection from this monthly. Great to see. Inverted head and shoulders, and then it actually confirmed it when it broke this neckline up here, right around 97.25. So this was that neckline basically, and then it broke through. So this is really good to see. We're breaking back into this bullish channel, which is what we want to see. Again, the overall sentiment is bullish, so that's what we want to see continue to happen, is bullish movement breaking back into these, breaking through these minor resistance levels back into these major zones. So right now, I'm definitely projecting a long setup into this 98.5 area, and once price action gets there, we'll then reanalyze. This is a big confluence area. This could act as serious resistance, as well as with this 200 EMA there as well. It's just a big confluence area. So 61.8 fib level is also there. So we want to see how price action reacts to this level, whether it breaks higher, and then we get a confirmed higher low, right? And then we would consider more long setups into major weekly levels, like this weekly, major resistance levels like this weekly and this monthly all the way up here. Or we see key rejection, a key reversal from this level, and then we can start looking for short setups as we identify lower time frame transitions. So like a 30-minute transition, 1-hour transition. And once we get those bearish setups, after we hit this level, we can then determine, is this going to continue short on this 4-hour bearish trend, or is it going to continue higher on the overall daily bullish trend? Okay. So that's where we're at with DXY. Definitely long as of right now. So after we've done this, right, we can move ahead, get on to our next pair, AUD USD. First thing we do, guys, we always check out the daily. We're identifying sentiment. Want to see what the broader view is, what the overall price action has been doing for the larger view essentially. So we're on the daily here. We can see that it's primarily bearish. Very, very strong bearish channel, forming good structure throughout, breaking through monthly support levels, testing as resistance, and so on. So this is Corona. Let's identify that first. This is Corona news. This is complete crap, right? So price action came back on this 4-hour rally, but it's still bearish. So we can see that it's bearish on the daily until this monthly is broken. So just like we went over on DXY, we want to see this needs to break this monthly and then retest for us to then consider a daily transition and then start looking for long opportunities. But because we didn't see that, because we saw simply a test of this, lower high, just a test over here, we started looking for shorts, playing into that overall sentiment. So let's drop to the 4-hour. Clearly you can see, Clearly you can see this is a 4-hour bullish trend. Pretty strong because it was retracing from this Corona news, this Corona dump. So this was expected, this pullback, but then, we saw a lot more bullish volume step into the market, pushing price action up to our monthly level, right at 0.708, and then we saw a double top form, right? So that's this right here. So this double top form, which was good, key reversal, came back down, broke through this ascending trend line, broke down, came back and tested it, confirming a lower high. So this is the transition. It's a 4-hour transition, right? Breaks through a level, comes back, retest, confirms a lower high with bearish setups. That's a confirmed transition. So now, we're looking for shorts from this area. We're looking for shorts all in here around 0.69 as we're seeing rejection, once, twice, 3 times, and these huge bearish engulfings keep presenting themselves. So what we saw last week, and actually right at market open, was this huge candle, this bearish candle right here, significant bearish candle formed after it pulled back through the MAs, and then it gapped lower. So right now, taking entry on this, we literally just want to see a retest of 0.684 with some strong bearish setups like an engulfing. We want to see some exhaustion, and maybe some exhaustion, an evening start. Any type of bearish variation or setup in this area would indicate more a continuation, bearish continuation, where we'll look to enter. So short term, we're looking to target down towards 0.675, in which case, when we get down to this level, we'll reanalyze and figure out what price action could be going. So this is what this short could look like, right? It's pretty much 100 pips down to the 675 zone, about 100 pips. And then, once this lower high is confirmed, once we see some rejection, your stop loss would be just outside that. So it'd be like probably a 3.025 risk reward, and you'd adjust accordingly depending on where this setup presents itself. But this could be a really great trade. And again, I say short term because this is just the 4-hour move. Once price action gets down to here, we'll be reanalyzing, looking for more bearish setups, something like this, more lower highs to form, breaking back into this zone. You just want to see a bunch of bearish volume, pushing through this zone, get in on a nice retest, nice fib level, more bearish setups, and then we could target down towards this weekly. So this is part one of this trade. It's looking very likely right now, especially with this gap. It's showing that there's a lot of bears in the market. So again, we're just looking for this retest, bearish setups, then we're going to target lower, and then we're going to reanalyze once we get down to this level. So it's looking pretty clean. I like the way this is looking. Because keep in mind,
everything's gapping down too, which is
yeah,
pretty wild. Showing that momentum's open and very very short right now.
Right, exactly. And I'm confident on this setup here, which is why I'm going over it, because keep in mind the higher time frame, guys. We're still very bearish in the higher time frame, and if this is a daily reversal and it's confirmed, this level is a 4-hour level. So breaking through this could be very, very likely if this daily momentum steps in, right? So then we're looking to target towards our weekly support around 0.654. And honestly, potentially even lower. Again, we're just looking for those setups. The breaks of support, test resistance, confirm lower highs, etc. So that's AU, guys. Let's go to the 4-hour real quick. Take one last look before we move on to AJ. Okay, so this is what we're looking at right in this area. Looking pretty good so far. All right, let's keep moving on to AJ. All right, so this is AJ 4-hour. It looks very, very similar to AU. But first, we're going to jump up to the daily time frame. Just go over sentiment again. You have to do this on every pair, guys, because things can change. You got to just make sure the price action's in the right area, that your sentiment is supported, that your trade ideas are supported. That's why you always want to start on a broader view and work your way down. Okay, so here we are on the daily. Super bearish channel. Look at this. Very, very clean. Breaking support, testing as resistance, breaking support, testing as resistance again. So this is the key level in this piece of structure here. This leg higher. Is this monthly? So this was a lower high, right? Price action dropped lower, came back, tested the lower high again, dropped. This is Corona news. This is that retracement. And then price action came back to this monthly, simply testing this lower high again. And then we saw a huge rejection. A little tweezer top, giant evening star, and then another bearish variation right through the MAs. So now we can drop to a 4-hour, see where we're at. So we actually put out a trade on this a couple weeks ago when this head and shoulders was happening. It was like June 20th. It was the weekend. It was right in this shoulder. So like June 20th, or I'm sorry, June 10th, 2020. So right here on this.
What you trading in the future, bro?
Right? Oh my goodness.
Holy shit.
So, all right. So this was the head and shoulders that presented itself right after we hit this monthly zone, which was really key to see because this is a huge reversal pattern, and we were able to capture this move, this huge leg down to the supporting trend line of this daily channel. So this was nice. This was a great move. I think we got 220 pips or just over that, and then it pulled back, forming another lower high, another entry opportunity, and then we're just following this continuation lower. So right now, where could we potentially enter? We had a little bit of consolidation here, right? We wanted to see either a break to the upside or a break to the downside. And we actually we saw the break to the downside at market open. It gapped lower, right down to the 50% fib level. So the key area right now is 73 flat, which is pretty much where price action is right now. And to enter on this, we just want to see some exhaustion, some bearish setups, an evening star, a nice bearish engulfing. And you could honestly enter on that because this is enough. Like this is very, very bearish, significantly bearish, forming lower highs repeatedly. If we see that confirmation right now, you could enter on that and then target towards the next major support level, which is the 70 handle, which would actually confirm a break back into the overall daily bearish channel. So this is what this trade would look like, okay? We're looking to get down to the 70 handle, right around here, about almost 300 pips, okay? So this could be a massive move. Again, AJ is very volatile, so your stop loss is going to be large, just like your TP. But again, it's about risk reward, percentage risk. So just be aware of that. Very, very volatile for AJ, okay? So your stop loss could be all the way up here and still be 2-to-1. Almost 150 pip stop loss to get 300 pips. 2-to-1 risk reward, great trade. You could even bring this down a little bit. I'd probably bring it around to 100 pips flat, making this pretty much a 3-0. So guys, there's a lot of potential in this. Let's call this a 3-0, right? Let's see, 300 pips. 3-0 risk reward, meaning I'm risking 1%. and aiming to get 3%. That's a massive trade. And this could play out with all the momentum we've been seeing, bearish momentum we've been seeing come out of AJ. It's looking pretty clean so far. So let's go back to the daily and kind of see if this makes sense, right? So here's our next level, 70 handle, right at the weekly support. And yeah, it's looking like it's making a lot of sense, especially since this, reversal from the monthly. So yeah, if this momentum, we just got the MA cross 2 on the daily. So that's huge. We're getting some exhaustion and push. Everything is pointing towards the bears right now. The only thing that could really potentially save us is the 200 EMA right there. It could potentially push price action back up to form another lower high, or a deeper fib level on a lower time frame. But right now, it's looking very, very likely that the bears are going to continue and push price action lower. Okay, so here's the 4 hour. Just one last look before we move on to EU. Looking pretty good. This is pretty clean. I like it. Not bad. Again, 3-to-1 risk reward potentially. Big trade for this week. All right. Next, we got EU. EU, again, off the bat, guys. What do we do? Check out sentiment on the daily. You can see that it's bearish. Very, very bearish. Here's that strong bearish channel. Don't mind this spike. Again, this is Corona right here. This whole ripsaw, and then the consolidation to follow. So let's drop down to the 4 hour. Still mainly bearish until we get above this monthly. Okay, remember, always keep the higher time frames in mind. It's so important because you can get lost, on those micro time frames. If you're just spending all your time in a 30-minute, the 15-minute, you're missing the bigger picture. You want to understand where price action's been, what the overall sentiment is, and where it's got to continue, because it's very hard to shake a daily trend. A lot of momentum needs to happen. A lot of bullish momentum needs to change this trend for us to start looking at long setups. So again, you need to get above this monthly. So that's why we're still very much bearish on this. Okay. Let's drop to the 4 hour. So this was, again, the rise of EU was, USD news was still being priced into the market, and that's why we saw, EU or the euro rise, in comparison to the US dollar. That's why we see EU going up, because if the US dollar drops, EU will go up, and vice versa. So we saw this rise, right? Huge reversal happen. Another head and shoulders pattern presented itself. It didn't exactly reach this monthly. I was expecting it to. It was like 100 pips shy of that, but nonetheless, it gave us a reversal pattern right in this area, right around 1.14. So there it is, the head and shoulders, left shoulder. Here's the head. Here's the right shoulder. And then it broke the neckline and the zone. Great. That's like pretty much confirming this pattern. And then we wanted to see a retest. So we basically wanted to enter on a retest of this neckline, of this zone, right at 1.1235, this price label right here. But the one thing about this that's, not that, reassuring is that it didn't pull back through the MAs. I want to see it pull back through the MAs and then give us an MA cross like this engulfing. So I'm still expecting this to pull back and test this area once more. So I'm expecting it to pull back, give us an MA cross, maybe consolidate for a second, and then give us a bearish engulfing, pushing back through the MAs, in which case I'm taking that entry. That's a textbook trade, especially if you see an MA cross like that on a 4 hour. We could then drop down to a 1 hour, 30-minute, and start looking for those lower time frame setups to then enter on. So once we do get that pullback and those setups, this is what the trade would look like. Protect ourselves outside of this zone, outside this neckline, above these MAs as well, above these lower highs. So there's a lot of protection here. So that's where we're looking to get. Probably be about 70 pip stop loss. And we're simply going to target towards our next major support level, which is our weekly, right around 1.1045. And this is looking like a 2.5 to 1, 2.5 to 1 risk reward. So risking 1%, aiming to get 2.5%. Again, another great trade. Pretty much textbook. This is what we like to see, a nice pattern, 4 hour transition followed by some, lower time frame setups. That's pretty much textbook. That's what we look for. And this is lining up to be, one of those great trades. So we'll be looking to get into that trade once we see these setups again, right at 1.135.
Yeah, as always, like Nick's doing, we're just starting on the higher time frames. If you guys just getting into the session, getting involved, we just do top-down analysis. So we just look from the higher time frame. Our main levels weekly, as Nick has placed, monthly and weeklies are on those time frames. And then we're pretty much just trying to see what the trend is between, those two levels. Whether it's on the daily or the 4 hour. Nick was obviously just bouncing around. So that's just trying to get into, eventually where to take the actual entry as to what we're doing.
Right. So just to, I mean, we marked up this trade. We understand that, you know, we're looking for those setups on the 4 hour. So let's jump back to the daily for a second, on the daily time frame now, and just kind of see if this makes sense from a, you know, a broader perspective on this higher time frame. See what's going on. So, you know, our TP is at a huge confluence area. Again, the weekly zone's there. The daily 200 EMA is there as well, and also the you know, the upper trend line of this descending channel is there as well. So this is a big confluence area for a target. That's what you want to see. You usually want to choose an area where there's a lot of confluence for your target, because you know, it's very likely that price action is going to come back and retest this broken zone. So that's why we're targeting that area. But also, one thing I want to bring your attention to is this MA cross. We have a daily MA cross here. So the likelihood of us testing this again, just like we saw here, it tested it and then rejected it. The likelihood of us testing that again is very high before we get this, you know, confirmed lower high on the daily and then a drop. So that's what we want to see, which lines up exactly with our 4 hour time frame. See? We'll see a nice pullback, get in on those setups through the MA cross again, and then we're targeting lower. And this is going to be, again, over 170 pips. So this is looking like a really great trade. There's some great setups this week, guys. You know, after a huge reverse, after a huge move like this, and you see a reversal, there's so much opportunity in the market. And that's why pretty much every pair I'm going through is looking similar. You know, there's head and shoulders patterns. There's a lot of transitions happening. We're very close to, you know, executing on these trades. So that's, you can just see all these are very, very similar. All right, so let's move on to EJ. And then I'm going to cover gold for you guys. So first thing we're doing, identifying the sentiment on a daily time frame. This is a very, very large bearish channel. The volume is huge. You could just see every time I touch the upper trend line, it shoots down like 1,000 pips to the bottom trend line. So there's so much volatility here on this pair. Just to keep in mind, all JPY pairs are, you know, have more volatility than other pairs for the most part. They typically move the most. So just be aware of that. EJ and AJ being one of the top two that, you know, have the most volatility. So, all right, so we're very, very bearish, as we know. And then we saw this huge, huge rally on the 4 hour time frame. So it actually broke out of this daily descending channel. This was that trend line that was broken, the upper trend line. It finally broke, and then it pushed all the way up to our major resistance zone around 123.5. So this huge zone here. So we saw price action push up rapidly and then stall. So look at this nice, you know, reversal. There was tons of exhaustion, tons of consolidation, and then price action just kind of fell back. And there is a head and shoulders here. It's not, you know, as clear cut as some of the others, but this is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder, and the neckline is pretty much horizontal, right where this weekly is. So we actually saw that break, which was a great sign. Great sign of the confirming this reversal, confirming this pattern. You know, it broke this lower time frame zone, right at this weekly zone, I mean, broke through, tested again, pulled back through the MAs. This is what I was talking about on the other pair. We want to see this MA pull back, and then a confirming cross. So these huge, this bearish variation here, going back through the MAs, that's a potential entry. That's what you want to see pretty much on whenever you're looking to enter. So this was a great setup here. And we actually were analyzing for a trade in this area right on this wick, and then it just dropped. So this was part one of the trade. If you guys were on, was it last Sunday Market Blitz? I was going over this two-part trade. So it was like this. We're looking for a retest and then a play down to this zone here, 119.85, and it played out. I actually put out a trade review on Friday about it. So that was part one. And then part two is what's happening right now. We're literally looking for a break of 119.85, which we saw right on this huge bearish engulfing. It closed below. And now we're looking for a retest, a confirmed lower high below this zone, below 119.85. We want to see that. Confirm that lower high with bearish setups, and then we're targeting down towards our monthly. So this is a bigger trade. This is part two. This is like a 350 pip trade, or pretty damn close to it, 340 pips plus. We're targeting down towards 116.5, which is our major monthly support level. And, you know, our stop loss is going to be pretty tight. We're just looking to have the stop loss outside these two lower highs here, outside this 119.85 area, and also outside this supporting trend line. So 70 pips, 75 pips. And look at the risk reward, 4.5 to 1 risk reward. So again, risking 1% to get 4.5%. That's a huge trade. That is an absolutely massive trade. That would hit my weekly quota personally. And that's crazy. So this could be a massive move, and we're literally a few confirmations away from that. You know, I want to see price action pull, you know, push down a little bit lower, come back for a retest, confirm this lower high with, again, exhaustion, bearish engulfing candle, evening star, 3 bearish candles in a row just after hitting this zone, which would confirm that lower high again and then present a great short opportunity. So that's EJ. This one's looking like, honestly, my favorite for this week. It's in such a nice zone, and it's very likely that it could drop back down to this monthly. So let's go to the daily again real quick. I want to get rid of this and see if it makes sense. And look, it does. So we're playing back down towards this monthly, which is our low, which we've seen price action hit so many times. So it's very, very likely if we do get this lower high confirmation on the 4-hour, that price action will drop down to our monthly. Okay? So it looks very good right now. And that's EJ. Let's go ahead and move on to the last pair I prepared for you guys, which is some of y'all favorite, gold. Everyone loves gold for some reason. Let's go to the daily.
Gold.
Established sentiment. Bullish as hell. I mean, I cover this every week, guys. Every Sunday, every live trading session. It's just bullish as hell. It's been for a while. It is a safe haven commodity. So, like, over the long haul, it's always going to appreciate. But, again, we always like to identify sentiment and see where price action is at. So the huge zone that I want to bring your attention to right now is this monthly, right? We saw that it was key resistance over here, right at 1675. Key resistance, and then it finally broke through it and then tested its support so many times. And this level held. It's been holding, like, let's go to the 4-hour and I'll show you how well it's been holding. It's been holding throughout all this consolidation. See how many times it's been tested? Rejection, rejection, rejection. Here again, over here as well. It's just been climbing higher and higher and higher. So after this final touch here, it rejected off this monthly, pushed through this descending trend line above these MAs, above the 200 MA, and is actually above this structure level here at 1695. And there's another one, I think, right at 1710. I deleted it, or 1720 rather, which is a key level. So let me show you why. Let me go ahead and draw this correctly. This will give me the, there we go. So 1720 was a key structure level, which we wanted to see break and retest. Then we could target higher. So that's what we saw here, right? Consolidating in this area, right between 1720 and 1730. Finally broke above, right? We got all this exhaustion off 1720. Finally, a few bullish engulfing here, then a bullish variation, and then price action just skyrocketed. So it pretty much just took off from this level, and it shot all the way up to 1752. So right now, where can we enter? I know some people are thinking that, how do we get in on this? How do we capture this move? We got to wait for a retest. We're establishing a new high right now. Now we're waiting for structure. After the new high, we need to see structure, and then confirmation that it's going to continue higher. So basically what we want to see now, pull back to this golden level. This would be honestly the best trade idea right here. If it pulls back to this zone, right between 1730 handle and the 61.8. If it comes back, this is literally the golden level. It's going to pull back through the MAs.
The golden level.
It's a golden level. I even made it gold for you guys. So it pulls back through the MAs, maybe consolidates, and then if we get a bullish engulfing through the MAs, the upside, that's your entry. You're literally taking that entry 10 out of 10 times, and we're targeting up towards 1800. And this could be a massive trade. So let me show you guys exactly what this would look like if we get that confirmation at our level. It would essentially look like this, up to 1800, bang. And then your stop loss would be, so like look how low our stop loss is. We're outside this support, 1730, outside this support, 1720, below these higher lows, and it's a 3.5 risk reward if we're all the way down here. 200 pip stop loss to get, what is this? How many pips is that? 680. Now again, it's different on gold, guys. So like, it's still, again, we're just risking 1%, aiming to get 3.5. So this is a massive trade. We've actually been stalking this one for a while. And again, we're a few confirmations from a really great trade up to 1800. Remember, we want to pull back, confirmed higher low, bullish setups, and then bang, we're in. All right, so that's gold. Let me do a quick recap. I covered DXY, AU, AJ, EU, EJ, and gold. Okay, now I'm going to pass this off to Angelo. He's going to cover some of the majors. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, this is looking really, really good this week. Pretty much every pair I covered has a potential setup.
Yes, sir. All right, so I'm going to share up. We're going to get started here. I'm going to get started with these two pairs are ones that we are actually in trades right now. I know someone just asked me in the chat, They wanted to know how can we take advantage of the analysis that is posted in here. So, like me and Nick talk about, all of this analysis posted in here is higher time frame. So if you come over, GU was posted. If we come over to the 4 hour time frame and GU, I marked a little pullback. And if you guys come to the live sessions more, you'll understand. Like me and Nick, or like Nick just talked about, we want to get in on these pullbacks. We want to get in on, in this instance, a lower high. So this formed this lower low, lower high. Broke this low, form a new low. So we're looking to get back in on this trade. The overall momentum's bearish in the sense that red's over blue. This was this high point. Now we made this lower high. As this pulls back right here, this is where we're looking to take advantage. All along this area, this forms, we start pulling back through, this crosses. Our entries need to be right here on the lower time frame, guys. So in our analysis, say you're looking at our analysis and you're like, where should I enter? Well, this is the 4 hour time frame. We need something very similar to this to happen. So we need a pullback. We need to find some resistance. And we talk about this. We'll talk about this in the live sessions on here, but obviously inside the course, talk about it more. Is we are looking for momentum to shift. We're looking for the moving averages to shift. This goes bullish. Then what needs to happen? Overall, we're in a seller's market. The sellers need to come back into control. They need to show that this is a point at which there are a lot of orders being placed, enough to change the momentum again. That's all these crosses are telling us. Momentum shifts bullish, momentum shifts bearish. That makes us comfortable with using our stops above here, because that means that since this pushed through enough to change momentum, this becomes a major level of structure. These are just ways that we teach using the moving averages, just teaching structure. These are just the basics, guys. You know what I'm saying? Market structure is the basics of any type of TA, really. Especially our TA. The way that we're going to teach you guys is using the moving averages, using market structure, and then a little bit bringing in fibs, into the play. So, right now, say you wanted to take advantage, when should I take advantage of this analysis? Whatever. If price pulls back to this area, you know what I'm saying? And then we get on the 4 hour, and this goes through like our trading plan. This would be considered a confluence area. What is a confluence area? That just means it's a point in the market where there are multiple confirmations. What are our confirmations? Support and resistance, Fibonacci, trend lines, supply and demand zones, then the moving averages, candlestick analysis, bearish, bullish engulfing, stuff like that. So say this came up, formed a bearish engulfing. All that tells me is like, okay, time to go to the lower time frame. Let's look at the lower time frame. And then that's when we get into entries. Again, all of this analysis is just the higher time frame, guys. This is just the overall sentiment, showing you where we overall think the market is going to go. Obviously, we believe this is downtrending. This is going to form another lower high, continue lower. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why in the core, like if you're part of the membership, you're part of the signals, this is where we'll put all the 30-minute analysis. As price comes into this area, if we get some sort of setup on the lower time frame that me and Nick are looking to trade, that's when we're going to put it in this group. That's when you guys are going to be informed. This isn't the signal yet. This is just the analysis. You guys can learn, okay, the potential opportunity is coming. Very similar to we had NU. NU I put in here. I had started to see what I wanted to. If we broke below here on the retest, I wanted to short this pair. As I come back over to the chart and we come over to NU, we'll go to the same chart as this one. We'll go to the 1 hour time frame. So boom, down to the 1 hour time frame. This is where we were at that time, right in this area, above this red line. I needed price to come back, pull back, then where's our entry? You know what I'm saying? Entries are always bearish variations, moving averages crossing. We took our entry, we made it into some profit. Now we're maintaining the trade, a little bit more. So again, there's a process. The free group gets the higher time frame. The paid people get the premium analysis, where we're setting you guys up for when we're trying to enter the lower time frame. This is just lower time frame analysis. This is higher time frame analysis. And then the signals, are obviously us giving you the trades, entry point when they go out right there, pips, And then we always recommend use your position size calculator. Every trade you take, put your account size, put the risk that we recommend. You know what I'm saying? Like for this trade, we recommend 1%. So you put in 1%. And that's just how you keep together a decent plan so you guys can stay, on course with this whole thing. So that was just answering, a little question somebody had about that. Let's start with NU. Let's bump up, to the weekly time frame. We've been going over this now, a few times. We have weekly time frame is definitely in a downtrend. We formed this low, pulled back to form this lower high, cross here, momentum shifts, but overall we're still bearish until this point is broken. If you guys are confused on structure, that is something that's going to be, we're teaching people inside the course. If we ever do a free webinar on that, you'll be informed about it. But that is structure is everything. Structure is everything. It's what you got to understand. There's so many different ways you can look at a market. You got to create like a favorable situation where you can not predict, but based on how you see things, you can make, forecasted ideas and then execute, with what you just see, what's in front of your face, with logic. So this is a downtrend, lower low. Now we're looking up here. Could this be very similar to what happened here? Starting to pull down. I mean, we pull down maybe to retest this low right now. As I start to go down time frames to the daily, just looking at daily structure, I'm like, okay, monthly time frame is bearish, weekly time frame is bearish, daily time frame is bullish in the sense that we broke these highs. We came up, we were within, you've been following us. We had the fibs like in this downtrend. Then inevitably we broke this level right here to make this new high. Now we're all the way up at this weekly confluence area. That's why I'm asking myself, okay, I'm looking for this weekly lower high. So I'm trying to see, daily time frame, obviously still bullish, kind of at this high right now. 4-hour time frame, can I see structure here, higher low here, higher high? It doesn't make another higher low. This is very minor. And then we come up right here, we make a higher low, pull back, make this high. This is on this 4-hour time frame. I guess you could say this is like structure right here, actually. This is structure, and I say that because I just look at these moving averages. They cross, momentum shifts right here. Then there's enough for us to pull back through. So this becomes a nice level of support for us. Obviously, this broke, retested, you know what I'm saying? Formed another lower high, so now we're focusing on this area. So the 4-hour is in a downtrend now. The 4-hour is in a downtrend, guys. The 4-hour is in a downtrend. We need to make a new low. This is our most previous, I'm going to actually drag this across. This is our most previous lower high right here. This point at which price surged through, they crossed. And then right here, we crossed again, broke back through. Yeah.
Real quick, when I mentioned transition, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Huge reversal, right? You see a break of support, tested resistance, multiple confirmations, including, the MAs getting pulled back through to form structure. This is a confirmed transition. So just for, you guys heard me say it a lot. So I just want to make sure you guys all understand this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. So, just looking at, got to identify structure first. This is a higher low. We got this weekly confluence area. That's that trend line. That's that red zone all the way on the weekly. I'm saying to myself, okay, if my weekly time frame, if the bias is bearish and I'm looking for a lower high, something significant needs to start to break. The 4-hour is a very, higher time frame structure. This at the least needs to start to shift for us, unless we're trying to be very aggressive at the top here on the 1-hour, but that's comes down to what your risk preference is. So the 4-hour has started to shift, guys. So the 4-hour is starting to shift. That's why I started to look, all the way down now to the 1-hour, 1-hour time frame. All right, I know the 4-hour is bearish, 1-hour time frame now, all the way back here. That's when I put that idea out. I was telling myself, all right, let me focus on the 1-hour now. This is our key level in the monthly. Whether we shoot up or shoot down, price is going to go some way fast out of this area. Why? We put this here because on the monthly time frame, price has come to this level. A lot of orders hit, surges to the upside. On the downside, comes to that level, a lot of orders hit, surges to the downside. That's a key level. You know what I'm saying? That's why we put that there. Now, price is near that level, so this is where we want to take trades. This is where we want to take advantage of the move. So, as I'm looking at this, 4 hours bearish. 1 hour is where I'm going to start take entries. 30-minute if I need to, but the 1 hour I have more than enough going on right now in the sense that this was a higher high. We were descending. We formed this lower high here, pull back, lower high form confirmed. Then we broke that, made this high. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm thinking to myself, okay, for the 4 hour to continue to the downside, what needs to happen? I need to break out of this lower time frame trend. This is trending higher high. Now we made this higher low. We came to this level, support here, support here, support here, crosses, comes back through. You know what I'm saying? Then we come back down. We cross again. You know what I'm saying? So we need to break this level now. And as soon as we break this level, I can comfortably short in the sense that I can put my stops now above this level, above this area, which is, lower time frame structure, which is also the higher time frame, the 4 hour now. If I put my stops above here, now we're using 4 hour resistance as well. So we're putting our stops in a place, like we always want to put them in a place of structure. So as this started to happen, price came down. This is a confirmed break. Price falls below, retests, following candle closes. I could have entered on that. And then inevitably, we came into a little bit of profit. And then what happened? We pulled back. We had entered around here. There was some drawdown. Ideally, this is more of an entry somewhere in this area, like this candle where it starts to actually cross, then you put stops above this level right here. And then all we're doing now is we are looking to maintain this downtrend, on this 1 hour time frame. This is a downtrend in the sense that it broke this support level, made this low, just pulled back, made this lower high. Now we're making another low. So if price breaks this whole trend shifts. The 4 hour chart starts to look a little bit different, starts to that would be surging all the way up here. Now we're retesting this level again on the 4 hour time frame. So long story short, the 1 hour, we are short right now. We are looking for more short opportunities. We are looking to maintain this level right now, obviously gap down into some profit. We gap down into like about 40 pips of profit, and our stop loss is 45 pips. So I could have chose to put my stops to break even here. Now I won't get too into maintaining order rules, but I'm still just going to maintain this as though, we're still assuming risk until we get a little bit lower. We don't normally hold trades through the weekend at all. So this is kind of something that we don't do ever. But we'll see. This is looking like we might get a nice move out of it. So that's NU. And again, just to go DXY, as Nick went over, DXY is getting a lot of bullish momentum here. Weekly time frame, we hit this 200-day. We were in an uptrend. This is a potential area we're about to come back up now. On the daily, what I'm saying? Like we broke to the downside, but we're hitting this monthly level. Like look at the sheer accuracy. No, I'm just kidding. Just look at the fucking, this level. Price came in. What is this telling me? I put this here because on the monthly time frame, we have, if we just look left on this monthly time frame, just in this area, we have this level tested, multiple times of support. Then we broke below, a lot of indecision here, again, and we broke above support here again. Then we came back into this area again to grab price. So price, whenever it hits this level, it historically is just grabbing a ton of orders. Like look at all the wicks around this level. Look at all this indecision and then surging up. Look at this area, breaks above, comes back to retest there. And then we don't need it to just be a line. Like we mark it as a horizontal box because it doesn't need to be like an exact line. Now, price came back into that area, just grabbed a ton of orders, and now it's flinging back up to the upside. It's going back up to the upside. It's going back bullish, on this 4 hour time frame. It needed to break this level right here, which it just confirmed broke. So this thing is running bullish. We got to keep that in mind. NU, we're looking for it to go bearish. So we need DXY to continue to ascend to go bullish. DXY is the strength of the dollar. NU bearish would mean that USD is gaining strength. You know what I'm saying? So let's go over to UJ. UJ is not as correlated. It's a little bit different. The UJ is like a weird pair because JPY is sort of out there. It's like does not correlate as closely as these other pairs. And if you want to look that up, you guys can do all on FX Book. You know what I'm saying? You can come on here, look at correlations with pairs, look how similar they are. A lot of these GU, NU, UCAD, USEF, they kind of correlate fairly closely. And then GU correlates really well with GJ, which I'm going to go over too. So this is another pair. We have UJ. I took a trade last week on UJ and we maintained it through the weekend again. Let's just quickly go through weekly time frame. Bearish in the sense that we broke below support, formed a new low, pulled back, cross here, formed a lower high. Then we hit support here. This is just the weekly. I'm trying to get overall structure. 200-day below there. Candlestick analysis, what was going on recently? Bearish engulfing right there. So that tells me sellers are in control. Daily time frame, we got our fib on here from our high to our low. We had our supply zone marked up here. Obviously not as relevant right now, but we came up, tested that zone, fell off, pulled back. This was a lower high that formed. This was our most previous lower high that formed. We were testing this. If you look at previous, live trading sessions, you can kind of look at how we judge structure in this area and what happened. Now, at this point, we're all the way down in this area. We kind of need to go down to a lower time frame to look at structure. On the 4-hour time frame, I have it in mind that we're near this level. I kind of want price to come more into this level. I think it has enough to test it. The 4-hour just broke structure, broke this, made this new low, pulled back, made this lower high. So we're becoming very bearish on multiple time frames. As I come to the 1-hour, I look at it like this. 1 hour pulled up, made this higher high, made this higher low, pulled up. Then we started to make this higher low. This was confirmed really in this area right here. So we pulled up, came back through. That was this confirmation. Then this level came up, moving averages crossed, came down. Right here is where it was confirmed. Pulled up, moving averages crossed. Then we broke, and then I was just trying to short on all of this really. I'm trying to see if momentum's enough. This kind of just goes to my plan. If momentum's enough here, we're just trying to get this to short on every one of these really. These are entries here. This candle's an entry. This variation because of the cross. This is like an entry right here because of the cross through. And then I really believe I entered more in like this area. Kind of like all these, like this is an entry. This is an entry. This is an entry. This is an entry right here. We just got to see if there's enough, if this is enough momentum with this 1-hour trend to continue. If this breaks, this trend is done. That's why the stop loss is up here. So we'll see. This could come up and test this, and I'll comfortably hold this. Once it breaks, then I'm just going to say, like, okay, we're either going to go to stop loss or I'm going to comfortably exit on the first higher low. So that's GU, or that's UJ. Let's go over to GU. Let's start up on this monthly time frame. So the monthly time frame with GU, we are bearish in the sense that we broke this low support level, made this low, pulled back to make this high, pulled back again. Now we're below this level, finding a lot of rejection right there. Weekly time frame, bearish, made this lower low, made this lower high, made this low. Now we're got to focus on this area, guys. We just rejected this monthly level as resistance. Last week closed, a lot of bearish momentum. Huge wick, no wick at the bottom, a lot of momentum. Daily time frame, we took advantage of this last week. Again, weekly time frame is bearish, so what am I waiting for? I'm waiting to make lower highs. Like, I'm waiting for that next lower high. Right now, momentum, this kind of just made momentum continue to be bearish. We fell back below this moving average now. In the daily time frame, we popped up. This was kind of a fake out here. We kind of broke structure a little bit, broke this red zone, and then we just started surging down. So I'm not as clear on that time frame, but in the 4-hour, things are very clear for me. We broke this support level, made this lower high was formed. We just made a lower low. What do we need next, guys? We need a lower high, so we need something very similar to this. Pull back, boom, like I went over, I guess, in the beginning. So very similar to that. That's GU. We're waiting for a pullback, entry around there. UCAD, let's take up weekly time frame. UCAD had been, we were looking for shorts out of this area. Now we're back down this level. It's bullish in the sense that we made this high. Now we're down here finding support. Could this be a high or low and send us back into this supply zone? We'll see. Daily time frame, bearish. We're right in this monthly level. We're right in this monthly area. So daily time frame is bearish. 4-hour time frame is still bearish in the sense that we made this low, minor pullback, lower high here, made this low. This was our lower high right there. So right now we need price to do this. We need price to come up, retest, long. Price come up, retest, long. That would break this level. Then we get a lot of bullish momentum. We'll turn bullish. Then we can comfortably take, long opportunities into the upside. Again, this is kind of going with the idea that USD is going to be pretty bullish. Now, weekly time frame on USEF, USEF is bearish, in the sense that we can go back to this area and we could put on a trend line. Boom. What is the trend? The trend is most definitely bearish. Boom, boom, boom. I don't need to leave that on because the price is nowhere near this right now, so I don't want to have this on my chart. Now where are we? We are bearish. I want to get to the daily, look at structure. Daily is crazy. We made this low. We have this supply zone. Came up, retested. This was a lower high that formed right here. Why? Moving averages crossed. Then we came back up, retested. Found support there. Came back up, retested. So this is another lower high that formed. Came back down, retested. Another lower high that formed. Now, so what does that mean? Why am I saying that? That means that until we break, as of this moment in time, until this level breaks, this daily time frame is bearish. Okay, until that breaks. Even if this comes all the way up, I will still look for shorts out of there, respecting structure, respecting this. Look at these moving averages, red over blue. So that is what we're respecting right now. That doesn't mean though, let's look at price right now. What's going on right now is we are at this weekly support level, huge wick. Last week, doji right here. What is that telling me? Potentially could be pulling back now. Let's go to the 4-hour. 4-hour time frame. What do I see? 4-hour time frame has been bearish, made this low, made this lower high, made this low, made this lower high, made this low. This is, kind of tricky now. We pulled back. We had a very minor cross right here. We look really closely. Red went over blue right there. So it tells me momentum shifted enough for this to become a significant level of structure. I need this to break above, close, and then we're long. We'll go long on that until first this level, which is previous support term resistance. And if it breaks that, we'll go long all the way up until that level. So again, USD looking to go long on that. I won't consider shorts at this point until we get below this level, till this breaks, then retest there. So I'm thinking both sides, don't have to just be bullish, thinking both sides of the market. Last but not least, let's go into GJ. So GJ, let's hit the daily, weekly. GJ, like I said, correlates fairly similarly to GU. So GU, if we bump back over to GU, we are looking for GU to pull back up a little bit, go bearish. You know what I'm saying? It's obviously very bearish right now. GJ, I'm looking for the same thing, looking to pull back. Up to the weekly time frame. This trend line tells us everything we need to know. Lower low, lower high, lower low, low right here, retest. Now we're looking, could this continue lower from this point, or could it retest and make another, pull back and make a lower high? I need to go down time frame, see structure a little bit more clearly. On the daily time frame, I don't see structure in this area. This is where I'm kind of focused on right now, as clear as I'd like to see. So I'll go to the 4-hour. 4-hour tells me everything I need to know right now. We made this low, pulled back, confirm this level. That just broke. What do I need next? Lower high. I could put on the fib if I want, leave this on, 38.2 lines right up with 200-day. But I also have this level that I marked. This was based on support, 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 resistance here, resistance here. That's a major level that I'm looking to be retested first. So that's the 4 hour. I'll look for it to pull back first to that level. If we get any sort of price action confirmation there, then we'll head lower. Looks very similar to GU. So those are all the pairs that I have. Again, GJ, NU, UJ, GU, UCAD, USEF. NU and UJ currently are signals that are out. We're going to continue to maintain those trades. The premium analysis, like I said, we are going to update in here the lower time frame. So, for example, when GU gets to this level and on the 30-minute, I start to see something that I might signal for a trade, me and Nick will put in, we both follow different pairs. We'll put in the trades in here. You know what I'm saying? We'll put in the potential trade so you guys can see what we're thinking about, and then we'll execute them in the signals and put them in here. And yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. So these live sessions, obviously you can learn a lot from these. Just being in these sessions alone, we try to do the best that we can, in these live sessions, considering that they are free. If you guys are interested in getting involved, in the actual programs or anything like that, you guys can obviously, reach out to us after this call. Right now we do have a little sale going on, 40% off. So if you guys are interested in getting involved in that, definitely, reach out. I'm just going to pull up. Boom. So this is the little sale that we have going on right now. There's only 7 spots left, I believe, at this point. Normally it's $4.99. Now it's $2.99. Everything here is included. Signals, the full course, one-on-ones, webinars, everything in the course is included in this. So if you guys want to get involved in that, definitely tap in after this and, let me know. But these live sessions, again, we normally do a little giveaway. We're not doing one today. We're going to do one on Tuesday. So that will be our next live session. And, yeah, as you can see, Nick's over in the office chilling. You know what I'm saying? Kicking it, doing it
Where is
big.
it? Boom.
Boom, the logo.
There it is.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? We're just gonna continue putting in the work, this week. People inside, we're gonna drop the signals and wish you guys the best. Obviously we're in this together. The whole Discord is free, the public and everything. If you guys have questions, feel free to go in there. If you're new, welcome. God bless your soul. And yeah, this will be recorded, put on YouTube in a little bit. So continue to stay live in the chat and we'll continue to keep you guys updated.
Absolutely, guys. So thanks for sticking around. Have a great week. Enjoy the rest of Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all you guys who are fathers. And we'll see you this week. Let's kill it.
Fuck yeah. Peace out, guys.